Dune is an American epic science fiction film by Quebec director Denis Villeneuve. The movie is based upon the 1965 novel of the same name written by American author Frank Herbert and features an ensemble cast of heavy hitters. Dune is set to have its American theatrical release on October 22nd. This is the first in a video series on the Dune costumes, co-designed by Bob Morgan and Jacqueline West. The designers haven't done any interviews yet. They will likely begin press in the fall leading up to the release of the movie. I will share with you what I learned from production as we go along. But since many of the still images released by the studio are characters in their still suits, I thought this would be a great place to start. While the movie hasn't been released yet, there will be some mild spoilers from the book and the 80s movie of the same name. The Stillsuit is a complex full-body filtration system and reclaims the body's moisture, a sort of life support system, when worn in the open desert of the planet Arrakis, also known as Dune. Stillsuits are manufactured by Fremen, the human indigenous inhabitants of the planet Arrakis, as well as by private entrepreneurs. However, Fremen-manufactured stillsuits made of worm skins are widely considered the highest in quality, as they are the only ones that can preserve the body's moisture in the deep desert, with the wearer drinking the reclaimed water from a tube attached to the neck. In the book, planetologist Liet Kynes tells Leto Atreides that, with a Fremen suit in good working order, you won't lose more than a thimble of moisture a day. But there is also an ick factor. He tells Atreides urine and feces are processed in the thigh pads, which is perhaps why, among other reasons, the suit stinks. While the book was written over 50 years ago, the story of Dune takes place thousands of years in the future. But the stillsuit is still purely a work of science fiction. NASA's John C. Smith writes in The Science of Dune, "The stillsuits appear to violate thermodynamic principles and would probably not work, at least not in the form described by Herbert." He said, "The method for condensing water from evaporated sweat is not addressed, which is not surprising since condensation requires a mechanism for cooling at least a portion of the suit." Now, there has been some discussion about the color. In David Lynch's Dune, the costumes are black, while in the 2021 version, they are the color of sand. While it seems counterintuitive that the Fremen would wear black, there is something to this choice. Firstly, the Fremen are a nocturnal species and wouldn't embark during the day when the sun is at its highest. The other thought is that the Bedouin people, an indigenous people of the Negev Desert in southern Israel, often dress in black. According to a study in Nature from 1980, the amount of heat gained by a Bedouin exposed to the hot desert is the same whether he wears black or a white robe. The additional heat absorbed by the black robe was lost before it reached the skin. The 2021 design of the stillsuit appears to be inspired by David Lynch's 1984 Dune, with costume design by Bob Ringwood, who won a Saturn Award for his work on the film. Ringwood said in the behind-the-scenes featurette, "The stillsuit is the essential central thing of the movie, and it should have a sort of futuristic Aboriginal quality, so they were almost tribal." Likely keeping in mind two young hot things, Kyle MacLachlan and Sean Young, Ringwood said, "I was determined that the stillsuit was going to be very sexy." Ringwood said every single suit was handmade, but compared to the modern technologies of today, where the actors can be digitally scanned, they had to do individual body casts of each of the actors and background, creating male, female, and child versions. Mark Sigel, Dune's head of stillsuit construction, said, "We had to do body casts from which we made fiberglass forms, and then from there we would draw the pattern in chalk on the unitard and start cutting from the patterns of each foam rubber section, laid them on one by one until we got all the understructure built, including the tubing." He added, "We would brush coat it with a thick latex and then spray coat it with another thinner layer of latex for a final seal. At that point, put it in an oven where it would just kind of help the latex dry." The Lynch production said the costumes were very comfortable, but with the movie shot in Mexico and 110-degree temps, it made for one hell of a hot costume. Actor Patrick Stewart said that the Stillsuit was the most uncomfortable costume he had ever worn, while Max von Sydow, when asked, told Ringwood that the costume was absolute hell, but it looked so good that he would put up with it. In Dune 1984, they wouldn't have had access to cooling devices, first developed by NASA in the 1970s. More current productions like DC and Marvel Pictures provide the actors with cooling shirts to be worn under their suits, otherwise it would be unbearable. For Dune 2021, Arrakis scenes were shot in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, so this is likely what was used for the cast as production moved into the later spring months. For the 2021 movie, Ironhead Studio has stated on social media that they worked on the prototype for the suits. The California-based costume and creature design company is behind the creation of Marvel and DC suits like those worn by the X-Men, Batman, Captain America, and Black Panther. I don't know who in the end made the suits, but as Ironhead Studio founder Jose Fernandez said in an interview, there are other competing companies doing the same type of work. Some eagle-eyed viewers have said that it looks like some of the parts of the suit are cobbled together from ready-to-wear tactical elements rather than the stillsuits being 100% purely fabricated costumes. The gloves, for instance, appear to be Oakley Standard Issue assault gloves, while the knuckle plating on the gloves look to be repurposed as wrist cuffs. I'll add that the backpack and footwear also look to be off the rack. This might have been a cost factor, but hopefully we'll learn more over the next few months. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of the 2021 stillsuits, or if you prefer the 1984 version. And stay tuned for more Dune content coming your way. If you find value in this content, make sure to subscribe so you'll get notified when I release a new video. Thank you for spending time with me. I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.